Okay, so welcome to the September 5th new contributors meet and greet call. Okay, I see that we have more folks joining. So usually what happens in these calls are, first of all, we go around introducing ourselves, and like if you're someone who was new to contributing to, if you're just getting started with contributing to SIG docs or Kubernetes in general, you can ask your questions here, and yeah, you can get help on how you can go forward. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Sriram. I've been part of the Kubernetes community for some time now, and I am also helping the LWKD team. So it's a newsletter called Last Week in Kubernetes Development. I'm part of that team, and I'm help them write the newsletter every week. And I've also been part of SIG docs before.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Vlatko, and my pronouns are she, her, and I am one of the co-chairs of SIGDocs, and with Sriram joining to help and start becoming one of the new contributor ambassadors for SIGDocs. We're kind of doing this meeting together to welcome new members to the community. I've been involved in Kubernetes for a few years. And I also work currently at Cisco, also in the open source team, focusing a lot on upstream contributions to a lot of different projects, although Kubernetes is my favorite. and I do obviously specifically a lot in docs, but I also help out SIG auth when I can as well. And I'm based in Berlin, Germany, as well. Hence a few of our other chairs and tech leads unable to join today as they're located in lots of different parts of the world. I will hand it over to Fan.
Hi, my name is Fan. I am a master student at U Waterloo in Canada. So I specialize in software reliability. I'm very, very new to Kubernetes, and I really want to make a long contribution here. Thank you.
Pankaj or Arvind, would either of you like to go next?
Hello everyone. So yeah, my name is Arvind. I'm currently a BTech student in India, and I'm pretty much a beginner with Kubernetes. I just know the basics of it, and I just saw that there was this call of SIG docs, so I thought of joining it, and I'm willing to contribute to the Kubernetes GitHub project. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Pankaj. I have recently completed my master's in computer science. I'm from India and looking forward to contribute with you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. So I see that all three of you are like really new to Kubernetes, and all three of you are interested. So do you have anything specific that you would like to know about, or like have you tried like contributing before, or you just like completely new to open source in general?
I have taken an issue, but it doesn't go well. I don't know how to fix it. And I think it's for the KPNG SIG, and they asked me to update their Git action docs, and I don't know what to update. I mean, I can understand the files, like what kind of test scripts the GitHub action are running, but I don't know how to. I don't have like a example there for me to copy how to write a good documentation there. I don't know if this is relevant to this meeting though.
It
Yeah,
depends.
this,
Sorry, Sriram, after you.
sorry, yeah, I was just going to say that maybe you can reach out to the like someone from the team in any of the channels which are related to the SIG under which you're working. Sorry, Natalie, you can go ahead.
No, you said exactly what I was going to say. The first step, if you're not sure, is to ask more questions, specifically of the folks who are in the SIG, going into the SIG channel, so that it's a bit more a broader audience, so that you don't have to tag and wait for only 1 or 2 people to answer. So the channel is always best as a broader audience, and also link the issue that you're talking about, so that people can click on it and then understand the question that you're asking. That's always really good. Just saying like the issue or PR number. It's we want you to make it as easy as possible to get help. So adding links to the things that you're talking about is always worthwhile.
Thank you. Yeah, that I kind of missed that. I should have done that with days ago. Thank you.
That's okay. It's that's, again, it's something that you're learning. It can be hard in open source to think that or know that you can ask questions, but the Slack community exists exactly for that, so that collaboration can be easier, and that there's also a larger, let's say, audience for collaboration. So on issues and PRs, unless someone is clicking into this or maybe tagged already in that issue or PR, no one else maybe will see it. So on the Slack, you get a bigger audience.
Thank you.
Yep. Also, you can join this channel in Slack called Kubernetes New Contributors. It's not specific to any particular SIG. It's more sort of a general, like umbrella sort of community, but definitely you will find people who can point you in the right direction.
I kind of posted my question to the testing SIG, and the people are really kind of warm and helping a lot, like post a lot of devices. Yeah.
Yep, Pankaj and Aravind, do you have any particular things that you'd like to know about, or are you are you already participating in any particular SIG?
Oh, well, I'm completely new. I haven't decided yet.
In that case,
Yeah.
One suggestion or a recommendation that I can give is to be part of SIG Docs. So there is a SIG Docs channel in Slack where people from the SIG Docs community, like Natalie or Tim, they occasionally post new like issues which can be worked upon by new contributors, easier to easy, like beginner friendly sort of issues. And if you are interested in getting started in contributing, you can be part of those community and just in general, like be aware of everything that is happening there. So yeah, I myself, I started contributing from SIG Docs. Yeah, by just being part of the channel and just being part of the regular meetings, you'll get to know a lot.
Thank you.
I'm quite new to this as well, so I'm just kind of exploring. I think SIG Talks would be a great place to start for me as well. There's also this sub-project in SIG Contribex. I guess it's the mentoring one. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of exploring that as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
Natalie,
I was about to say, for everyone, feel free to also explore in the Slack community a lot of the other channels, just to even see how folks are collaborating, what kinds of questions they're asking. A lot of the times that'll help you, you know, think about other things that you either possibly want to ask or even learn some new things as well. So what Sriram already linked and posted in the chat, the Kubernetes New Contributors channel, that's always really good to join. There will be a lot of traffic there. So the one thing I want to note is that don't feel too much pressure that you must follow everything. Understand what your own capability is in terms of following along with what's going on. But another really good channel that you might want to think about joining, there's also a lot of different work around SIG Bex was mentioned already by Arvin, which is great. That's a great channel to join. And I'd even say joining things like the announcements channel, so you can understand across the project what information is being sent out and why. We just, for example, we recently are freezing the Google hosted package repositories for some of the work that we're doing across the project, and that, you know, we're going to be pushing it to a different URL and a different kind of namespace now. So things like this that affect docs, for example, because we have to update our docs to reflect this and so on. So joining some of those channels just to get information about the project is always really good.
Cool. Thank you.
I also have a question about like picking good first issues. So there are a lot of SIGs, and there are a lot of like there are also repositories for Kubernetes themselves, and so what kind of like a good first issues are kind of suitable for novice contributor? Yeah.
Did you want to answer that, Sriram, or would you like me to?
I guess we can both answer this question.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, yeah. What I would recommend is like be part of everything, but like SIG docs would have more issues, which would be easier for you to get started with.
I'd also say that we often, because across the project, we lack enough contributors, enough reviewers, enough approvers. We always need more and more. It does mean that sometimes we don't have a lot of time or capacity to find and create and then label good first issues. So in docs, it could be a really good idea that if you, as you're learning Kubernetes, as an example, and you're using the docs to learn about a certain concept, a certain area, and you think there could be an improvement so that you would learn this better, that's a really great way to start contributing, where you can contribute to an update to the documentation that you're using to learn. And that could be, maybe you think it's worthwhile rearranging some of the content because it makes sense this way better for you, or maybe you find lots of spelling errors and you know, punctuation that needs to be fixed up alongside improvement to the page itself. We do have a small thing about trivial edits. We don't want you to just fix one comma or one you know, period. We want improvement to an entire document. But things like this, where you're choosing to use our documentation, and as you're reading and using it, you think there could be an improvement, that is actually a great way to get started and to start contributing this way. I would also say that explaining why you're making that proposed change, that's really, really valuable. And explaining it in the way of, I was learning how to do this, and I actually think this might make more sense as I'm very new, and this has helped me better in this format, or this change that I'm proposing. That's always a really, really good way to contribute when you're making an improvement to something you're using already.
Thank you. That's very inspiring.
Another thing that I want to mention is with respect to SIG docs, there is a program called the PR Wrangler and the PR Wrangler Shadow program. I believe we also have an issue Wrangler role now. And the Shadow program, what it is you can, so every week there would be an approver who is tasked with going through all the open pull requests and triaging them. And you can be a shadow and you can work under them and like learn the entire process of how like, pull requests are reviewed and how all of that is done. So I can personally recommend that because I had been a PR Wrangler Shadow under Nate, is a different member of the SIG team, but you can also work with Natalie like in the week that she is the PR Wrangler, and you can learn how PR pull requests are reviewed and what it is that the maintainers are like, what it is that makes a PR good, and like you can apply those to the changes that you yourself are making.
Thank you.
I see that we have two new participants, like Sumanjit and Ansh. Would you like to introduce yourself? Sumanjit and Ansh, can you hear us? Feel free to introduce yourselves or like let us know if you have any questions regarding getting started with Kubernetes and contributing to Kubernetes.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Ans Roshan, and like this is my first time trying to get in this Kubernetes like uh, what contribution. So means I have seen that repository, but I am not able to contribute. Like the code base is like very large, and I am not able to do anything. So this is my first time. I joined this signed up today, and so I was just seeing what all I can do to just easily get there, so that I could like understand or contribute anyhow.
Yeah, so yeah, we were talking about the different special interest groups, or SIGs as we call them. And each SIG has its own Slack channel. So if you want to contribute to the documentation, you can join the SIG docs channel in Slack. You should be able to find them in the workspace. And we can join these different Slack channels and be aware of all the happenings. I am like, this is one way you can be active in the community and find opportunities to contribute. If you are specifically interested in like a certain area, like you said that the code base was, you found the code base to be really huge, right? So if you're interested in any particular area like networking or the CLI, they all have their own special interest groups, and they have like bi-weekly meetings and so on, which you can be part of.
Just to add on to what Sriram was saying, Ansh, yes, our code base for Kubernetes is very large, and how we break those areas up is by these different special interest groups, so that those groups own different areas of the code. And so what you can do is look into different areas of the code that you're interested in learning about or contributing to, or different areas of the project. As an example, SIG docs of what we are. We own the Kubernetes website, and we own the Kubernetes documentation. What that means is that we don't write all of the docs, because when a new feature is created, the feature creator the SIG that owns this needs to actually write a lot of that documentation, as they're the technical owners of that work. However, we own how the style of the documentation needs to go. We own how people are reading and consuming our documentation. We own how it's deployed via Hugo and Netlify, and we own the website itself. And we also help the documentation writers write better documentation. But a lot of sometimes the content of that documentation is still owned by the creators of the code. So that's something that is, as an example, an ownership area that we have. Then you have other areas like SIG release is another interesting area. That special interest group, they own the release process, which for Kubernetes, we cut 3 releases every year. And they also own how the release is structured and put together via a release team. And that team changes every release, so that we have different members of our community taking part in helping Kubernetes push its next release. We are actually up to release 1.29, and it's just started. And so this will continue for the next 4 months until the end of the year. So that's another area of ownership in the project, for example. So I agree, it's a huge project, huge code base, but hopefully understanding that it's owned in these smaller areas by these different special interest groups will help you find the area that you want to look into and learn about and contribute to.
So if I just want to contribute in that documentation, what all things I must know from my side before I can start there?
Yeah, great question. If you're in this, I really firstly recommend that you join the Slack, the Kubernetes Slack, and then you join the SIG docs channel, which I will just write out here. And then in this specific channel, I'll link them in the chat for you, but we have pinned messages that give you a link to specifically our contribution guide. That's going to be really important to know in terms of how to get started with contributing to docs, or just generally contributing to Kubernetes as a whole as well. I'm just going to copy the link in here. There we go. But that would be the first place that you can get information to get started.
Thank you.
Another area to mention in terms of our contribution areas for SIG docs that might be of interest to some people, we also have a sub-project around localization. So our documentation is available in 15 different languages for Kubernetes, which includes English, but we also have docs in a lot of different languages. And if you're a native speaker of a different language, you can look to see if that language is available there for you to also contribute there as well. We have some languages that are still launching and still working as well. So you can always use the Kubernetes Slack to find your language specific channel to offer to help to see what good first issues they may have and so on. That's also another area of docs that is worthwhile contributing to if you have a different language that you speak and you're able to review that kind of work.
Yep, and adding to what Natalie said, both the SIG docs as well as the SIG docs localization subgroup, they have bi-weekly meetings, and usually it's like the localization. If the localization subgroup meeting is today, the SIG docs meeting would be tomorrow. And yeah, we have the SIG docs meeting today in a couple of hours, and yeah, if you're interested, you can join that as well.
It is unfortunately at a horrible time for a lot of our EMEA, or should I say APAC group. It is at 18:30 UTC, or that's 19:30 in majority of Europe time. I believe that is, I believe that's a nicer time for Canada, but I believe it is around 11 or 11:30 p.m. Across India, as an example. So you don't have to join meetings that late. I just want to be very clear. Manage your time as a contributor. But yeah, those meetings are always in the agenda that I can quickly link here. They are also notes are taken in the specific agenda that you can always kind of go back to and refer if you miss meetings as well.
And I've also linked the new contributor ambassador role. So you can find it in the README for the Kubernetes website. And I've linked it in the chat here. And the new contributor ambassadors are people who are a good, they're like a point of contact, people you can reach out to if you need any sort of help when you're getting started. Like we understand that like Ansh mentioned, the code base is like really huge and it can be overwhelming. And even folks who are working in one particular SIG might not be aware of all the things that are happening in all the other SIGs. Yeah, the first couple of pull requests that you make can definitely be overwhelming. And if at all you need any sort of help or guidance, you can reach out to the new contributor ambassadors.
I think we're at time.
Yeah, let's do a final round of call. Sumanjit, you haven't spoken in the meeting. Do you have any questions or like were you able to find something useful from all the other questions that have been answered?
I think Sumanjit's mic is not working, so he has been saying that he wants to contribute and he just wanted to know that how to study. Like there in most of the project there means mostly it is of Golang. Like in Kubernetes we saw, and other also CNCF project we were seeing. So most of things are in Golang. So what all things in Golang should we study for that? If you can say anything about it.
I think a good starting point would be this website called gobyexample.com. Link it here. Yeah, you can learn the basics of Golang with this resource. On top of that, like what specifically you would need, I guess would depend on what kind of issue you're working on. Like if you're solely looking to contribute to docs, knowledge of Go is not mandatory, although it would help in some cases. But yeah, you can definitely like check out other issues. Like if you're trying to add something to the CLI, let's say, you can yeah, learn whatever you need based on the requirements, I guess. It would definitely help if you have a understanding of the basics, which this website might be able to help you.
So in docs, like only I need to know like what English writing or something like in advance, like technical things, what all I need.
So for generally for contributing to the project, it's worthwhile understanding at a high level what Kubernetes is and does. So there's a lot of interesting and good documentation you can look on our Kubernetes docs itself to just generally understand what Kubernetes is. Doesn't mean that you have to know intricately how to program in Go just yet, but understanding the different parts of Kubernetes, why they're important and what Kubernetes does, that's always going to be helpful in contributing to the doc so that you can help to make a lot of the documentation around people learning Kubernetes easier to understand.
Yep, and as Natalie had mentioned earlier, you can use the documentation for learning Kubernetes, and at the same time, you might find like when you're using the documentation to learn Kubernetes, you can look at it like how would I improve the documentation so that somebody else who is learning this for the first time finds it easier. Yep. Yeah, we are 4 minutes over our time. So if nobody has any other questions, we can wind up the call. And if you still have any questions, you can always reach out in the new contributors channel or the respective the Slack channel of your respective SIG. Yeah, you can also reach out to, like, I'll be available, and the new contributor ambassadors, I think Arsh is only, like, is the only new contributor ambassador who's mentioned in the channel. He'd also be able to help you out. Yeah, he's usually the one who is hosting these calls.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
So,
Bye.